Guys, how are you? I'm teacher Luis, and today I'm going to talk to you about past perfect. So let's see how it is. So this is it, past perfect. So we have here a sentence in past perfect. The movie is the subject, had is the auxiliary for past perfect, started, the past participle of the main verb. The movie had started, you see? And this is a complete sentence. But this sentence alone doesn't make any sense, okay? To say the movie had started, but so what happened with that? So to give a sense to this, we need to combine past perfect right here with past simple. And then I say, for example, when I arrived at the cinema, the movie had started. Now it makes more sense because we have here a complete idea. When I arrived at the cinema, you see, the movie had started. So, to give more sense to this idea, we need to combine past perfect with past simple. In other words, we can say that past perfect is the past of the past. You see? When I arrived at the cinema, the movie had started. Okay? So now let's see another example. John had eaten breakfast. You see, just the same. John had eaten breakfast. Okay? But again, something is missing here. We need to complete this idea. So, I combine this with past simple and I say, by the time he left the house. John had eaten breakfast by the time he left the house. So, again, we are combining past perfect with past simple, okay? This is something that we call completed action before something in the past. What is the completed action? John had eaten breakfast, okay? And what happened then? What happened next? He left the house, okay? In the prior sentence, we see, okay, what is the first idea there? What happened first? The movie had started, you see? And what happened next? I arrived at the cinema. You see? So we combine past simple with past perfect to give a complete idea. Let's see another one. Mary had learned English before she traveled to London. Okay? As they are two sentences, I can say this the other way around. I mean, I can say, for example, Mary traveled to London, okay, after she had learned English. You see? By the way, these are some expressions we use for past perfect. When, by the time, before, okay, they are time markers we use when we're talking about past perfect. So now let's see another example. They had known each other for 5 years. They had known each other for 5 years. Okay, here is the sentence in past perfect. Before they got married. Here is in past simple, you see? They had known each other for 5 years. This happened first. And then, okay, they got married. They had known each other for 5 years before they got married. Okay? And another one. When we moved to Bogota, okay, when we moved to Bogota in the past, we had lived in Cali for 10 years. So, what happened first? We had lived in Cali for 10 years. And what happened next? We moved to Bogota. You see? So, this is past perfect. And these are affirmative sentences. And again, we combine the past perfect with the past simple to give, okay, a better idea of the situation. So now let's move on negative sentences. And we have here, when I arrived at the cinema, okay, the movie hadn't started. This is negative. We simply deny the auxiliary, had not or hadn't, if we use the contraction. When I arrived at the cinema, the movie had not started. And the second one, John hadn't, here with the contraction, John hadn't eaten, the past participle, breakfast by the time he left the house, okay? So this is the past simple here, and I combine it with the past perfect. You see, John hadn't eaten breakfast by the time he left the house. And now let's see how we ask questions. So the first thing we use is the auxiliary, okay? So we say, had Mary learned English, okay? Past perfect. Had Mary learned English before she traveled to Europe, okay? Here is the verb in past simple, you see? Had Mary learned English before she traveled to London, okay? If the answer is affirmative, we say yes, she had. Remember, to give short answers, we use the auxiliary. Yes, she had. And now, let's suppose the answer is negative, and the question is, had Mary learned English before she traveled to London? No, she hadn't, okay? She didn't have any idea about English. No, she hadn't. Okay, now let's continue with the next question. Had they known, okay, past perfect, had they known each other for 5 years before they got married? Here, past simple, okay? Had they known each other for 5 years before they got married? Yes, they had, if the answer is affirmative. Or, no, they hadn't, if the answer is negative, okay? So, this is it. This is past perfect. So remember, always we combine past perfect with past simple just to give more sense to the sentence, okay? To give like a complete idea of what is happening or what happened, okay? Because anyway, this is past. So this is it. This was past perfect. I hope you find it very interesting, and as usual, see you around, my friends.